My wife admitted she had feelings for her boss and kissed him, but claimed she still loved me and needed time to think, then told me, "Maybe you should go. You will be better off without me," after our 4-year-old called him uncle in front of me. I never thought I would write something like this about my marriage. My wife, 32 years old. Me, 34 years old. We have been married for 7 years, 10 in total together. We have a 4-year-old son, and, until recently, I would have said that our relationship was solid. We both work full-time. Our life is busy between jobs, raising our son, and trying to find some time for ourselves from time to time. A little about us. I am the more introverted type. I enjoy a quiet night playing video games or reading after the little one falls asleep. My wife, Anna, not a real name, is more sociable. She is the type who really enjoys going to after-work gatherings or networking events. I have always admired how outgoing she is, because I am terrible at small talk, but we balance each other well. She gets me out of my shell to go to a barbecue or a neighbor's party, and I help her slow down when she is handling too many things. Until recently, I really thought we were a good team. A possibly relevant context: about 6 months ago, Anna's department at work got a new project manager, Marcelo, 35 years old. I met him briefly at her office Christmas party last year. He seemed nice, a loud guy who laughs a lot. Honestly, he seemed like one of those guys who make friends instantly. Over the following months, I started hearing his name more often. Anna would mention how Marcelo organized team lunches or shared a recipe for something she was cooking. She did not talk about him in a weird way or anything like that, just casually, like you talk about any coworker. At first, I did not think much of it. In March, Marcelo apparently went through a rough time. According to what Anna told me, his wife left him and he was getting a divorce. I felt sorry for the guy when I heard that. I have been lucky enough not to go through something like a divorce, and I figured the guy needed friends. Fast forward a few months to now. In the last few weeks, I have started to feel uncomfortable with how close they have become, and I want to make it clear that I am not the type to get jealous easily. Anna has always had male friends, and I have had female friends, and it was never a problem. But this feels different, and I am having trouble pinpointing exactly why. One thing is that he started texting her more often outside of work hours. At first it was about work stuff or his divorce drama, which I understood. Sometimes, Anna would tell me that Marcelo was having a hard time, like Marcelo asking her for advice on finding a new apartment or that he was very depressed. I would just nod and say, "I hope he is okay." Then I noticed that the messages were coming in at later hours. We would be watching television and a notification would arrive at 9 or 10 at night. She started holding her phone closer or leaving the room to talk when he needed to vent. I found it a bit strange, but I also did not want to jump to conclusions or be the controlling husband who tells her who she can talk to. So, one night, I just said, "He is relying on you a lot lately. Are you okay with that? It seems like it might be a bit much." She got a little defensive and said, "It is fine. He does not have many friends to talk to right now." I did not insist because I noticed she was sensitive, and I thought that maybe she just felt sorry for him. A couple of weeks ago, things escalated a bit. We had planned to watch a movie together after our son fell asleep. We had not had a proper date in a long time, but just as I was getting the movie ready, she got a call from Marcelo. It must have been around 8:30 at night. I could tell from her face that it was him. She sighed a little and said, "Sorry, I have to take this. It might be important." She went out to the back porch to talk. I could vaguely hear her voice through the glass door. At one point, I heard her say, "No, you are not a burden. It is okay." She was outside for about 20 or 30 minutes. When she came back, the movie was already halfway through and my mood was in the gutter. She apologized, but then said that he was having a very bad night. I did not know what to say. I just asked, "Is he okay?" She said, "Yes, he is calmer now." I tried to save the night by suggesting we watch something shorter or just hang out, but she said she was tired and had a headache from the call, so she went to bed. I stayed up for a while, feeling a bit annoyed. After that incident, I started paying more attention. She was on her phone more, using Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp or something like that. Sometimes I would see the green chat bubble pop up. If I walked into the room, she would sometimes quickly close the app, and she would respond with very short phrases like, "He is fine," or "Work has been heavy." I felt like she did not want to talk about him with me as much anymore, which was weird because she used to tell me a lot about his divorce and everything. The real breaking point that made me write this was an argument we had 3 nights ago. That night she mentioned casually that she was planning to have coffee on Saturday, which was yesterday at that time, with some coworkers, including Marcelo. She said it as if it were a group thing. Some of the team are going for coffee in the morning just to catch up outside the office. Normally, I would have no problem with that. I encourage her to maintain her friendships, but given everything else, I had a bad feeling. So I asked who was going. She mentioned 2 more names, a female colleague and another guy from the team, besides Marcelo. Okay, perfect. On Saturday morning, she left around 10 in the morning for the coffee meeting. I stayed home with our son. Around noon, she sent me a message saying they decided to go for lunch after coffee and that she would be back a little later, around 2 in the afternoon. Okay, 2 in the afternoon came, then 3. Our son was starting to get restless, so I fed him and we watched cartoons. She finally arrived around 4 in the afternoon. She went upstairs immediately saying she needed to use the bathroom and freshen up. I asked her, "Are you okay? How was lunch?" She yelled from the bathroom, "It was good. Sorry it ran long." Everyone was chatting, but something seemed strange. For starters, she normally tells me something about her friends or funny anecdotes from their get-togethers, but this time, practically nothing. And being out of the house from 10 until 4 for coffee and brunch seemed like more time than usual. When she came back down, I was in the kitchen cleaning. I asked in a casual tone, "So who ended up going to the coffee shop in the end?" She mentioned the same people she had told me before. Then I asked what place they went to for lunch. "Maybe we could take our son there someday." She hesitated for just a second and replied, "Oh, just a diner." Something in her tone or body language, I do not know. It could be my imagination, but she seemed weird. She quickly changed the subject, asking what our son and I had done while she was out. That night, I could not shake the feeling that something was not right about all of this. If it was truly an innocent group outing, why did I feel like I was being told a story? I have no proof that anything is wrong. She mentioned the names of real co-workers, and, for all I know, they could have all been there, but my gut feeling will not stop churning. I ended up asking her directly if everything was okay between us. She was surprised and said, "Yes, why?" I told her, "I feel like we have not been spending much time together lately, and I notice you are busy on your phone or talking to coworkers. I just miss you, I guess." She softened a bit, hugged me, and said, "I know, I am sorry. Work and life have been so hectic. I will try to be more present." That, at that moment, made me feel a little better. Then I brought up the specific topic. I said, "I think the stress of helping Marcelo with his divorce might be too much. Maybe you could suggest he talk to a therapist or other friends as well, so that it does not all fall on you." But she got defensive immediately. She said, "Why are you so obsessed with this? He is a friend who needed support. I cannot just tell him to go to hell." I replied, "I am not saying that. I just feel like it is affecting you, that it is affecting us. Like the other night, we barely spent any time together because he called." She rolled her eyes and replied, "It was just one night, and I already told you I was sorry. Are you overreacting?" From there, things got a little out of control. I admitted that it bothered me how much they texted and that she would hide her screen and things like that. Then she got angry and said I was imagining things. When I mentioned the coffee that turned into a long brunch, she got very upset. She said I was basically accusing her of something inappropriate when she had just been out with coworkers. She said, "If you do not trust me, just say so." She was almost yelling at that point, which is rare for her. I replied, "I want to trust you, but something does not feel right, and I cannot ignore it." She replied that if something felt wrong, it was probably me projecting my own insecurities and that she had never given me a real reason not to trust her. At the end of the argument, I was the one who ended up apologizing. I was scared by how angry she was. I told her that maybe I was being paranoid and that I was sorry for making her feel like I did not trust her. She went to bed without really accepting my apology. She just said, "Whatever, I am tired." And that was it. Today, Sunday, has been awkward and cold. We have barely spoken. We just took turns with the child and did our own chores. Now I am here writing this because, honestly, I do not know if I am overreacting to a complicated situation. On one hand, I feel my concerns are valid. Something in my marriage feels wrong lately, and it seems to be related to this guy. On the other hand, I cannot point to any concrete evidence that something bad is happening. She says they are just friends and co-workers, and maybe he is taking up a lot of her time. But does that make me an asshole for being upset about it? so I would appreciate an outside perspective. Did I handle the situation poorly? First update. I want to say that I read as many responses as possible. Honestly, I did not expect to receive so many comments. The general consensus was that my concerns are valid and that I am not crazy or malicious for feeling uncomfortable. Many people told me to trust my gut. Some suggested I talk to some of Anna's co-workers or friends to confirm things, while others said I should confront her directly or even check her phone. Opinions were divided on that. A few said that maybe I was overreacting, but most made me feel less like an insecure person and more like someone who is detecting a real problem. So thank you for those perspectives. A few days have passed since my post. However, I found a way to confirm some suspicions about that Saturday coffee/brunch, and it basically confirmed that she was not entirely honest with me. On Monday, by pure coincidence, I ran into our neighbor Tom while getting the mail. Tom is a friendly guy, a little older than us. We sometimes talk about sports or the garden. In the middle of the chat he mentioned, "Oh hey, I think I saw Anna on Saturday. I was driving through the downtown coffee shop area around noon, and I could have sworn I saw her sitting outside at the Java Cafe with a guy. I only caught the back of his head from the car, but I thought it was her. Were you the one with her?" There was no kid, so I was not sure. I handled it calmly. I just said, "Oh, I was not there. She went out with some coworkers on Saturday. Maybe you saw them." He replied casually, "Oh, okay. I only saw two people, and one of them looked like Anna, but I was driving, so I could be wrong." We ended the conversation, but I was already pretty sure he was not wrong. He basically confirmed that my wife was with just one man and no one else, at least at the moment he drove by. This hit me hard. It is one thing to have a gut feeling. It is another thing entirely for someone else to confirm it. She had looked me in the eyes and told me it was a group outing. That was a direct lie. I spent Monday night dwelling on this. I knew I had to talk to her. At first I was going to wait a bit and see if anything else happened, but I could not. Lying about something so simple was eating me up. So on Tuesday night, after our son fell asleep, I approached her. I told her a brief version of what I heard. I ran into Tom, and he mentioned he thought he saw you on Saturday at Java Cafe with someone. He did not see the others around. Is there anything you want to tell me about that meeting? Her face quickly went through several emotions, surprise, then a kind of panic. Then it settled on an annoyed/defensive attitude. She said, "Tom must have been mistaken or he did not see everyone. We were sitting outside and people were coming and going." I replied that it seemed like he only saw her and one man. Then she sighed and admitted, "Okay, fine. The others canceled at the last minute. In the end, it was just Marcelo and me. I knew you would get upset about it, so I did not mention that detail. That is all. We had coffee, then brunch, just talking about everything he is going through. I am sorry I lied. I did not want to have another fight. I was pretty upset. I told her that lying is a very serious thing for me. I said, "Do you understand how bad it looks that you hid that? How am I supposed to feel at ease with this friendship of yours?" She got angry at that and turned it around. "You were judging me just for being there for a friend. So yes, I did not want to poke the bear anymore." That phrase, poking the bear, really bothered me. I am her husband, not an angry bear that needs to be managed. I told her that clearly. If nothing inappropriate is happening, why are you treating me like I am irrational just for being worried? All I want is honesty. You did not have to lie about a group meeting that did not exist. She replied, "If I had told you from the beginning that it was just him and me, would you have been okay with that?" Honestly, I admitted that I would have been uncomfortable, but that the important thing is that I should have had the chance to have that conversation instead of being deceived. And then she dropped this. He needed to talk one-on-one. He is a mess. I thought it was better to say it was a group thing so you would not overreact about me helping him. At that point, I was struggling to keep my voice down. The last thing I wanted was for our 4-year-old son to wake up hearing mom and dad yelling. I told her, "This is not about me overreacting. This is about you prioritizing his comfort over being honest with me. You chose to lie to me so you could meet alone with another man." She countered, "Secret meeting? Please, listen to yourself. It was not secret. I told you I was going out. You knew where I was." I reminded her that she had explicitly told me that more people would be going, which was a lie by omission at best. The conversation went around in circles without getting anywhere. She kept insisting that nothing happened and that I was making a drama out of nothing. I kept repeating that the fact that she lied and got defensive is exactly what makes it a problem. Finally, she threw her hands up and said, "I cannot do this. You are not going to trust me no matter what I say." And then she said she was going to sleep at her sister's house that night because she could not be around this paranoia. She packed a travel bag and left. That was last night. As of this writing, Wednesday night, she has not yet returned. Today she went to pick up our son from daycare and apparently dropped him off at my parents' house. They often help us with care if one of us cannot make it. She sent me a message saying that our son would stay the night with them because she needed time to think, and she assumed I did too. So here I am, alone in a very quiet house. I am a mess. One part of me thinks, what the hell is happening to my marriage? Another part is angry because she is turning everything around, as if the problem is me for not blindly accepting whatever she tells me. I have not told anyone else in real life about this yet, except for Tom unintentionally, who does not even know the context of what he saw. I am thinking of contacting some of her close friends to see if they know anything, but I am not sure if that is a good idea. To be honest, I was half hoping she would come back today full of regret. But instead, she is digging in her heels and avoiding me. It is hard to describe how surreal this all feels. A week ago, I was even doubting my own suspicions. Now, it has turned into a situation where my wife has left instead of talking things out. This all feels very wrong, and I am cycling through emotions every hour. Hurt, then anger, then fear, then numbness. Second update. It has been about a week since my last update. I wish I had better news. A lot has happened and none of it good. After that night Anna left for her sister's house, we had very little contact for a couple of days. We only talked about our son's routine. She stayed at her sister's house for the rest of the week. I was basically a single dad, except when she came to see our son for a few hours or when he stayed with my parents. It was awkward and painful when she came to pick him up or drop him off. We barely exchanged words beyond a tense hello or logistics like, "I will bring him back at 7. It was like we were divorced roommates. Finally, this past Saturday, she asked me to talk that night, after dropping our son off at my parents for a sleepover. My parents offered to watch him so we could talk. They could already tell that something was very wrong, and I ended up telling my mom a little bit. I agreed. So on Saturday night, she came to the house, and we sat in the living room. I do not think I will ever forget that conversation. At first, we were kind of avoiding the topic, sitting in a heavy silence. Finally, I said, "Just tell me why. I deserve to know what is going on in your head." She started apologizing immediately. "I never wanted to hurt you." Her eyes filled with tears, and that softened me a bit, despite everything. Seeing her cry got to me. I told her I needed her to be honest, no matter how painful it was. I asked her directly if she was having an affair with Marcelo. She partially admitted it. She said, "I have feelings for him. I am not going to lie about that. But it was not like I planned it or wanted it to happen." According to her, it all started as a friendship. She said she did not realize how attached she had become until the last few months. They spent a lot of time talking at work, then about their personal problems, and apparently also about her feelings. She said she had been feeling lonely and disconnected in our marriage for a while, and that having someone who listened to all her anxieties and valued her made her feel a spark she had not felt in a long time. Hearing that was devastating. I asked her, "Disconnected? I thought we were fine. Why did you not tell me anything?" She said she did not even know how to bring it up, and that she did not want to burden me with it because I always seemed busy or stressed with work and the child. That hurt, because yes, life has been hectic, but I had no idea she felt so neglected. I would have done anything to fix it if I had known. I kept pressing with the big question. Did it go beyond feelings? Did anything physical happen between you two? She hesitated. Finally, she nodded and said, "We kissed a couple of times." She swore that was all there was physically. No intimacy. She said the first time was about a month ago, after a long night at work, when he was upset about some legal news related to his divorce. She claims it was an impulsive moment and that they both immediately said it should not happen again, but it happened again. She did not specify exactly when, just that it was recently. She insisted that she never slept with him and that she could not get to that point because every time she got close to crossing that line, she thought of our family. I just stood there, numb, shaking my head. I remember saying something like, "You realize a kiss is a huge betrayal, right? Emotionally, you are not with me anymore and you are involved with him." That is an affair, whether you have had relations or not. She said she knows, and that she feels horrible and guilty. In fact, I think she got a little angry with herself and said, I do not expect you to forgive me. I do not even forgive myself. I asked her what she wanted to do now. At first she did not answer. Then she said, I do not know. She said she was deeply confused, that she cares a lot about Marcelo, but that she also loves me and loves our life together. That saying it out loud, she realized how ridiculous it sounds to have feelings for two people. She said she hates herself for ruining everything, but she also admitted that there is a part of her that is drawn to him, and that she cannot just turn that off overnight. Hearing that was devastating, but strangely, I appreciated the honesty at that moment. It was better than if she had given me some easy excuse. I told her that I cannot be in a marriage where she is undecided about whether she wants to be with me. I told her that if she is not 100% committed to working on us, then I cannot continue with this. She cried a lot at that and said, I understand. I just need time to clear my head. I am sorry. So for now, we are effectively separated. Not officially or legally. We have not talked about lawyers or divorce yet, but she is still staying at her sister's house. We agreed to maintain a routine for our son, which is the only thing we are really aligned on. We are splitting time with him so that he has stability. So far, since he is so young, he does not quite understand. He just thinks mom is having a lot of sleepovers at his aunt's house. That breaks my heart. Honestly, this whole situation is tearing me apart. I am trying to hold it together. I told my older brother and a couple of close friends what is happening, and they have been very supportive. My mother knows we are going through serious problems. I did not give her all the details, but she knows we are taking some time. From the outside, we probably looked like the least likely couple to be in a situation like this, so everyone is quite surprised. As for Marcelo, well, I asked her if she is still talking to him. She says that since our big fight and since she went to her sister's house, she has not seen him outside of work, and that she told him they needed to cool things off while she figured out her marriage. She says he knows he is walking on thin ice with me. I did not know how to respond to that. Part of me wanted to grab the keys, drive to wherever that guy lives and confront him, but I did not. I have not spoken to him at all. I do not even have his number, and I am not going to show up at his office. So that is how things are. She has asked for some time and space to figure out what she really wants. I am here at home, trying to pretend to our son that everything is normal when it clearly is not. I do not know what is going to happen. I told her that I cannot wait forever and that she should make a decision sooner, not later. She said she understood. I am not going to lie. A part of me still hopes she will choose to be with us, that she will choose her family. I know some will think I am pathetic for that, but after 10 years together, it is not so easy to turn off love and hope like a switch. Another part of me is furious, feels betrayed, and thinks that maybe I should be the one to make the decision. Maybe I should just file for divorce and get it over with. I go back and forth between those ideas every hour. We have not set a deadline or anything. We are just in limbo. I guess she needs to see if the grass is greener on the other side, or whatever horrible cliche fits here. I told her I am not going to be intimate with her or pretend to be a happy couple while she finds herself. For now, we are like cooperative and civil exes, except we are still legally married, and I am a mess inside every day. Third update. Since the last update, we continued in our uncomfortable limbo for a while. We lived separately, she at her sister's house. We did the child exchange and only spoke as much as necessary. Every time I saw her, it was painful. Sometimes she seemed as miserable as I was. Other times, she put on a brave face. Finally, last week I reached my limit. During one of the child exchanges, she mentioned she wanted to talk about a schedule change because she and her sister, with whom she is staying, were planning to take our son to an event at the zoo on a day that was originally mine. I had no problem with the zoo thing, but then my son, who was listening to us, said excitedly, "Yes, Mommy and Uncle Marcelo are going to see the lions." I swear I had to pause for a second so I would not lose my composure. Uncle Marcelo? My wife's friend has now been introduced to my 4-year-old son. Apparently, I just said, "We will talk about the schedule later." I think Anna realized how that sounded, because she looked a little nervous and quickly told our son, "Oh, it is not for sure yet, honey." Then she left pretty quickly. That was the last straw for me. That night I sat and thought a lot. Well, actually, I stared at the wall, boiling with rage. Introducing him to our son, calling him uncle. How dare she? That went from me being heartbroken to being angry. Even if she thought she might end up with that guy, doing it now, before we even know the fate of our marriage, was incredibly disrespectful. After calming down a bit, I realized that I cannot continue living in this limbo. It is destroying me, and it is not fair to our son either to have everything so uncertain. I ended up consulting with a divorce lawyer. I just needed to know what my options were and what this would all look like, especially regarding custody, the house, etc. The lawyer explained my options regarding separation, custody, etc. Yes, it was a depressing conversation, but oddly enough, it gave me a small sense of control, as if I were at least doing something proactive. A couple of days ago, I met with Anna in person at the house after our son fell asleep. She came specifically to talk. I told her that this situation is not sustainable and that I was planning to start the divorce process if we did not find a clear path to reconciliation immediately. I was pretty firm about it. I expected her to say something like, "Okay, I understand," or maybe to argue. I honestly was not sure. Her reaction was tears. She started to cry and say, "Is this really what you want? Do you really want to end it like this?" I told her, "I do not want any of this, but I cannot go on like this either. It is killing me, and it is not fair to anyone." I told her that if she really wanted to work on our marriage, like going to couples therapy, cutting off all contact with Marcelo completely, being totally transparent, all of that, then I was willing to try. If she showed me she was 100% committed, but that if she could not commit to that right now, then there was no point in dragging this out. She did not give me a direct answer. She just cried and repeated, "I am sorry." I asked her exactly what she was sorry for. Was she sorry for hurting me and ready to rebuild, or sorry that this was ending but still unable to let him go? She just said, "I never wanted any of this. I was so stupid. I ruined everything." I insisted one more time. "Do you want to fix this marriage or not? I need an answer because I am ready to walk away if you cannot decide." Then she said something like, "Maybe you are right. Maybe you should leave. You would be better off without me." It was as if she did not have the courage to say directly that she did not want to continue, as if she were pushing me to be the one to end everything. I told her, "I'm going to talk to the lawyers so you can get ready." She just nodded through her tears. I admit that at that moment I was angry and said something I probably should not have. I hope he was worth it. She started crying harder and ran out without answering. So yes, I guess I am moving towards divorce. I have not officially filed the papers yet. I have another appointment with the lawyer in a few days to start the process, but unless she has a miraculous change of heart and clarity before then, this is where it is all going. I am devastated. This was not the outcome I wanted when I first wrote. It feels surreal to be researching custody agreements and who gets the house when a month ago I was only worried about some messages on her phone. But here we are. Our son does not know anything concrete yet. We have not used the word divorce, and we will not until the process is underway and we have the living arrangements sorted out. For now, he just knows that mommy is not home as much as she used to be. We are trying to keep his world as stable as possible. Update 4. Final. A couple more weeks have passed since the last update. I guess this will be my final update for now, as there is not much else to do but live with the aftermath. Yes, I officially filed for divorce. She received the papers about a week ago. We have already started the process of defining the details of the separation. Surprisingly, or perhaps not so much, she did not object to anything. In fact, she seemed almost defeated, as if she was already expecting it. I am going to individual therapy, which is helping me stay centered. We are working on a co-parenting plan that we both consider fair for our son. Neither of us wants an ugly legal battle, and I have to give her credit for being cooperative regarding custody and finances. So far, everything has been painfully civilized. We communicate mainly by email or brief exchanges about our son. Every time I see her, the wound opens up again. I see the woman I loved, and then I remember what happened. It is going to take a long time to reconcile that internally. I am leaning towards moving forward with the divorce. Maybe when all this is over and we are officially separated, I can start to truly heal. Right now, it still all feels very raw. I have good days and really bad days. I have been leaning heavily on friends and family and focusing on being the best father possible. My little one is the bright spot in the midst of all this. He is young enough that I think he will adapt, especially since we are working towards a stable shared custody arrangement and we both plan to remain very present in his life as cooperative co-parents. There is no neat or satisfying end to this. My marriage is over. My trust is broken, and I am just trying to pick up the pieces day by day. I am glad the truth came out, even though it hurt more than I ever imagined.